Bloody Time, episode 4. Oh wait, 5, my bad. Last week I was saying the wrong episode the entire time. I was about to start over doing the same thing. No, we're on episode 5. Yeah! How's it going, Dustin?
It's going pretty good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, look it over here. I had an interesting morning today, though. So, I went to college for take some tests, and I take the park and ride down to Denver. Well, coming back home on the bus, I see these little degenerate kids. They get on the bus. They can hardly even afford a bus ticket. You know, they're like, hey, you got extra money? I mean, it's $8 for both of them, and they can hardly afford it. Well, I'm walking to my car, and all of a sudden, one of them comes up to me and says, hey, can you buy us some cigarettes from the gas station? So I give him this look. I'm just like, yeah, I will. Go meet me at the gas station. I'm going to go bring my car around. Like, oh, cool, man, thanks. And they go wandering over there with all this gleeful hope in their eye. Dustin, I get in my car and I drive home.
Good move, man. I like it. How old do you think they were?
Oh, fuck. Maybe 16, something like that. I mean, they were the little skater kids. I don't know what the hell. They were ditching school, clearly. Because they're coming, they were in kind of the shittier part of Thornton as it was. And then they just, I don't know. But I was just, the whole time I'm thinking, one, I taught them a lesson. Hopefully. Hopefully they're pretty stupid anyways. I'm gonna ditch school so I can go smoke. Two, I'm trying to teach these kids that hope is dumb. You get any hope, someone's gonna shoot it down. Hopefully that's what I did, is I shot down every little bit of hope they had. I crushed it. Just took it beneath my heel and just ground it into nothing. But yeah, that was like part of the highlight of my day, is just like, yeah, that's right, you fuckers. How do you come up to me and ask me about that?
Damn, I would have not been able to think of that on my feet. I would have just said no. It's like, nah.
It's just like, no, what are you, 12? Get out of here. You don't need it smoking. Come on. Just go be like, yeah, sure. And you God damn it. If only I was a cop a cop off duty or something, and just like whip out a badge, scare the shit out of them. Like, no, but I could tell your parents, just see them go running. Oh, that would be fun. But yeah. How's your day been? Huh?
Far less exciting than that. Go to class, come home.
Well, I wouldn't call it exciting. I did a foolish thing. I went and got Taco Bell. That was my first foolish mistake. My second one was I decided, because they're doing this new thing at Taco Bell now, you can win, 12 people win daily, you can win $500 at the GameStop. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh fuck, that'd pay for a PS4. So I put my name in the raffle. Hopefully I win. They said they'll tell me by tomorrow. Yet again, I have no hope in winning, but it'd be like one of those things, you never know if you don't try.
Yeah, if that's daily, and it's probably no purchase required to enter. I'm gonna enter that shit every day.
Yeah,
it's my number one hope of getting a PS4 right now.
All you have to do is keep going. Honestly, to my knowledge, there's no purchase necessary, but you have to go online and then you have to get them to mail you a code for some reason. That's what it was saying on my cup. Or you could just, if you just keep buying a large drink there every day, eventually you'll have enough money to pay for a PS4. How much money? It does make me wonder how many people, especially when they were offering the PS4, how many people actually went out and bought those $5 boxes, just trying to get one. Like one guy bought one every day or whatever, $5 a day, and then he realized, oh, I spent over $800 and I still didn't win one. I could have bought two. I want to know if that really ups their sales that much, or if they're just, they get hardly any people trying to do it. I'm going by hopefully, with the $500, that hardly anybody actually enters that thing, and then I have better chances. But we'll see. We'll see.
On the plus side, you get delicious, nutritious Taco Bell food. Ooh.
Well, it was pretty tasty. I had some tasty ass quesadillas. I love their chicken quesadilla. So yeah, I actually really was proud of myself that I didn't get a buttload of food like I normally do when I go there. You can hear it from Dustin. I am a guy who's able to spend $20 at Taco Bell if I work hard enough.
Yeah, you're making progress. I'm glad.
Oh, that's awesome. So I guess since you and I had very similar days, except for I just told some kids to go fuck themselves in the most elaborate way I possibly can. Let's get on to the portion of the bloody times of the news. Shit going on around the world. All right. In North Carolina, let's not do that one. I almost forgot. Let's go with active volcano found underneath our Arctic ice. Erupt could raise sea levels. That is the whole thing. This is by the Discovery Channel, to be honest with you. It's on their website and all that fun stuff.
National Geographic.
Is it National? Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. National Geographic. I just looked at the little symbol and assumed.
Potato.
Yeah, it's all the same shit, whatever. Yeah, basically, for what this whole article is talking about, let me just sum it up for you people. They're saying they found an active volcano underneath, Antarctica. And, if this thing fucking erupts, they are predicting that, it would cover more than a half a mile or 1 kilometer of ice. And then, it would, from what they're predicting, it would speed up the whole global warming thing with the melting of the ice caps. That would speed up greatly, and then we would see our sea levels rise. So people who already live technically below sea level, you guys are about to get a lot more wet.
I think it's only going to be inches, though. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal.
No, I don't pick. They're making this. The whole article's talking about how it's going to be way worse than what they're saying. They're talking about. I mean, okay, maybe not so much because I just read a quote saying we're not talking about an eruption causing ice sheets to melt, causing catastrophic sea level rise, but it will cause a rising of sea levels. I picture you right, maybe a maximum a foot. But, nothing...
A foot? That's intense, dude. That is intense. I think here, I mean, there's a chance that the eruption could be pretty massive, but most likely, from what I can see, it's not going to be too bad. But it is a newly found volcano, so that's pretty damn cool.
Oh yeah, and it kind of is, they show a picture of this volcano, and it's really cool to see, actually. Just to look at this thing, because, all you see is snow, and then somehow this active volcano is just hanging out. I'm just like, that's kind of cool. That's awesome. The only thing I've been kind of, worried about is, I was watching something on, History Channel. It was something about how the world could end. And one of them was, the Yellowstone geyser, Old Faithful, actually exploding or something.
Yeah, that one, they call those, I guess it's a dormant supervolcano, I guess. That's if that did go off, it'd be pretty damn bad. Most of the continental United States would be, in a world of hurting.
Oh yeah, I think where we're located currently, we'd be evaporated, according to their thing, we'd be dead.
Yeah, you go another couple 100 miles, then you'd just be half fried, want to die.
Yeah.
I doubt this is nearly that bad because.
Oh no, it's just a regular volcano. So I mean, if it actually erupted, I don't see it wouldn't melt all of that Antarctica or anything. I mean, it's not it's not a super volcano or anything. It's just a volcano, and it is active. But we have active volcanoes all over the place, and they rarely ever erupt. They kind of just hang out, It's just steam.
Yeah, even when they do, people don't really live around them, so it's not really a big issue if they do go off.
Think of all the penguins in Antarctica. I don't even know if there are penguins. Is there anything that lives in Antarctica?
Not really. I mean, there's probably some seals or something, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of shit up north, but I don't know about down south in Antarctica.
I think, they do go there, but then they migrate out for the winter. I don't think many things can handle the winter of Antarctica.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know the thing, that thing can't. Alright, so let's get on to some, the most nasty fucking news. Alright. So, this woman in Italy, she was having pain in her ear for a long time. And, she apparently had, her skin was all destroyed, and it was just, it was all it was, from what they said, if I'm reading this kind of correctly, they were saying it was kind of all gooey and decomposed, and it was,
turned black, basically.
Yeah, when they show a picture, it's really disgusting. Basically, from what she was bit by was a Mediterranean recluse, a spider who is known to destroy skin and underlying fat, causing a sunken-in scar or a disfigured ear, is from what they were saying. And the whole thing's just talking about how the woman, she was bitten by it, and they say these spiders rarely bite people, but when they do, they can do some serious tissue damage. Apparently, yeah. This is just really nasty. They were talking about how this woman, she got bit, the doctors, they were trying to help her out, and then eventually all they could do is say, hey, it's dead. The skin around there is dead. There's nothing we can do. All you can do is do plastic surgery. And they end up, from what I see is they ended up, taking tissue from her ribs and putting it in her ear. Like the cartilage, I guess you could say. So,
yeah, the recovery picture looks okay. I mean, it's kind of weird because they show the picture of half of her ear cut off. Because they had to cut it out at one point.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, the recovery it looks perfect, actually. It's quite amazing. You see a little scar, but, the cut off part is, but, there's nothing they could really do. Oh God, dude, I don't know if you know this, Dustin, I hate spiders. They're nasty. They're nasty little creatures.
They're not bad. They're just trying to get by, yo.
Why the hell are they biting people's ears? Ugh.
It helps them live.
Helps them live. Just munching on someone's ears. Yep. This is a big ass catch. I'm set for life. When I first saw this news story, I was almost thinking that, because they kind of word the story a little bit different, where it's like, recluse spider bite eats hole in young woman's ear. And I was actually thinking that, the thing just kept eating in her ear or something, like it was inside or something. And I was like, oh God, that is my worst fear, is a spider crawling in my ear and then just, you can't get it out, Ugh. I don't know, do you have any fears of spiders?
Not so much. I mean, I don't really know what types are bad based on looking at them. And luckily enough, where we live, we are pretty safe from spiders. So I don't know, if I lived in maybe like Africa, Australia, I might be a little more scared of them, but no, I'm good with spiders. They're pretty cool, actually. When we went camping once, I actually just sat there and watched a spider make a web.
Really?
Yep. It took him like maybe an hour, but it was pretty cool.
I actually, what was it? Today I was washing my car and I went to the sink and there was a spider in there and I actually killed him the most interesting way, Dustin. Interesting to me anyways. I basically just turned on the hot water and just scalded the fucker to death. And it was really interesting to see him just, for a while there he was trying to do this spider swim where they just stretch out their legs and all of a sudden the water started getting hot and he starts curling up and I was like, damn, he gets on his back and then he just, he just starts twitching and shit. I'm like, that's kind of gross. And then he just goes down the drain. I was like,
yeah, typically I like to burn insects if I can.
So you were that kid when, having the magnifying glass as a kid, just sitting there, just, I always tried that, never worked.
Yeah, well, you have to have patience, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I never did the one thing, though, where, I forget what you have to do, like, drop a match inside an ant hole. I never did that. I kind of wanted to. Kind of wish I would. But
a couple of weeks ago, there are some prairie dogs by, my parents' house, and we had these smoke bombs. We just threw the smoke bombs in there and covered up the hole.
Did you just watch a bunch of prairie dogs go running out?
No, they didn't. They didn't run out. They either died or they survived and dug their way out later on. But I like to think they died.
Oh God, Dustin loves to kill small animals. Usually, what gets people into killing small animals after they are done doing that, they tend to start hurting people, which is it's a stretch for a fucking segue. But anyways, in North Carolina, this story. 11-year-old boy is routinely chained up at home. Alright, so this is a little short story, or article, I'll just read the whole thing. Authorities in North Carolina say the 11-year-old boy found handcuffed to a porch with a dead chicken around his neck, was routinely handcuffed in the home.
Yeah, if when they found him, if he was handcuffed to a porch with a dead chicken around his neck, just makes you wonder what else they did to him.
I want to know why they did chicken.
Yeah, they have some fucked up ideas.
I want to know what punishment he could have done to get not only chained up on the porch, which dumbasses, everyone's gonna see that, and that's how they get caught. But the dead chicken, was he playing with his food? Like, why? Why? And they don't really specify they don't really talk much about the chicken, I guess I could say this article's not talking about much. They're talking, because I don't know, maybe it was just like, was it just a chicken you buy at the grocery store just around his neck for whatever, or was it like...
It says a dead chicken. I don't think they would specify dead unless it were like a full-on chicken that was just dead.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, you gotta grill some chicken. Yo, hand me the dead chicken.
And then it gets even worse, because apparently the Union County Sheriff Captain Cody Luke also told the Charlotte Observer on Sunday that human waste was found in the home floor. God. So apparently they weren't even letting this kid use the bathroom. He just had like shit in the corner or something. That's what I'm picturing. Or they just all shit on the floor. Not really 100%. But yeah.
Well, luckily enough, the couple got charged with child abuse, inflicting injury, false imprisonment, and cruelty to animals. I don't think the cruelty to animals is really necessary. I mean, but the other ones, I guess, are...
I know. For killing a chicken, it's really...
honestly, I don't think... If you have a chicken outside your house just on a stick and it's dead, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean...
Well, in Asia, that's what they do all the time, is they have dead animals hanging in front of the stores, actually to entice you to go inside the butcher shop. Or to go inside that in other countries, that's their way of enticing you to go get their food, is having dead carcasses hanging. Now, if I walk past my neighbor's house and they just had a dead chicken on a stick, just rotting there, I'd be a little questioning what the hell's going on. I wouldn't call the authorities, I'd just be like, I'm staying away from that fucking house.
Yeah.
But,
sadly enough, though, these people had 4 foster children adopted, and they were about to get a 5th.
Yeah, they had 5 kids.
Oh yeah, they did have 5. Wow.
Yeah, they had 5 kids, 4 adopted. I don't know if this kid that they were handcuffed was their own.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure these type of people are just the people who realize, if we're foster parents, we get free money. Let's do that. Not even give a shit about the kids. That is the worst kind of foster parent you could possibly have. I just feel bad for these kids.
Well, this is why, this is the problem with our fostering thing is, I want to know how social services never caught on to this, when
there's so many people, dude. There are so many people. How could you possibly notice everything that's going wrong? Let me
put it this way. When they're fostering a 5th child, why didn't the foster kid go hey, there's some fucked up shit to the social worker? It's not like he's adopted by them, so, he actually gets to talk to the social workers and stuff occasionally, so, I don't know. Maybe they put the fear of God into him. They don't, like I said, it's a short article, they don't really explain a whole hell of a lot, but there's a lot of questions unanswered with this story, I feel like. But I'm just glad both these people were, they're charged.
Yeah, so the weird thing I was thinking about, you see the 2 pictures with a man and the woman here in this article, and you kind of get the idea that that's the type of person they are. They're kind of fucked up. But it makes you wonder, if you just saw these pictures completely unrelated to this article, I feel like you might just think they're regular people, which is pretty scary because as an individual, you don't really have the option to know that these people are really fucked up.
Oh, I know. No, that's that's perfect, Dustin. And actually, that's kind of the whole point of, whatchamacallit, Unbreakable. How he just touches people and he can see what horrible shit they've done. They're all normal people, but, you never know. That's the whole thing. The person you meet in the grocery store, just randomly, you just walk up to them and say, hey, how's it going? For all you know, they have dead kids in their basement. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, that's, damn.
So it's really kind of, you never know how many people you're talking to. It's just, But the real question is, Dustin, now to our topic. Our topic this week being capital punishment. Do you think, Dustin, that these two people deserve the capital punishment? Do you think they need death penalty or just life in prison or whatever?
That's a really, dude, the line to draw there is so hard. Like, I mean, definitively, I can't really say one way or the other. I mean, if I were in their shoes, I wouldn't want to be killed, but at the same time, I don't know if I would want to live, to be honest. Like,
if I was in their shoes, I want to be killed. I don't think anybody wants to just, you know what, I want to be killed, but first I want to do a crime, I don't know many people who want to do that. I don't think these people deserve this. See, this is why I'm not the president. I'm not the ruler of the earth. Because, Dustin, I would be the guy dueling out cruel and unusual punishments. These people's punishment, you know what I'd do? First punishment, they're not allowed to go 10 feet near any child ever. Second punishment, they must always have a dead chicken around their neck. Third punishment, they are, their genitals are removed, so they can never procreate either. We are solving the problem. That is solving the problem. And then third punishment, we put them in their own little prison, which is we'll put them in their house arrest, and no toiletries, and, they get a shit on the floor, that's what they get to do, and they're chained, and they only get 10 feet of chain. So, that's what they get, and that's their life.
Well, that's almost more cruel than killing them.
You do cruel shit to kids, that's what happens.
Alright. Actually, though, I feel like, honestly, if that were the real punishment,
people would stop fucking doing it.
People would consider it. I mean, granted, there's always going to be someone who breaks the rule despite the consequences, but
then they get to have some horrible punishment. And that's what I would do. If I was ruling the world, I would be like, fuck it, capital punishment, we don't need to kill you. You didn't kill anybody. But, and that's kind of my way with thinking a lot of this stuff, with, these rapists and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're a rapist. Well, your punishment would be, like, you get raped by a big old fat dude every day the rest of your life. And if you start doing it...
Yeah, if the world were ruled by Brandon, we would have a government-hired rapist.
A government-hired rapist. Yeah, that'll be a job. You're like, hey, you like fucking dudes? Well, guess what? And the only problem with that one is, like, what if the guy actually enjoys it? Then you're like, well, fuck, now I don't know what to do. Cut off his dick. Then he can
do it hard enough where damage occurs.
Yeah, I know. Just start doing
Can't enjoy that.
Yeah, do it to a point where he does not enjoy it. Then there's, I can't think of all the things like, oh, if you torture somebody, we're gonna torture you. If you blow up someone, then you're dead. But,
I think removing their sexual organs, though, is definitely a good idea.
That's a good idea for all rapists. I really think they should. Just, they get, you get a pee in a colostomy bag the rest of your life. That is part of your punishment for raping a woman. Or dude, or raping anybody, really. Children, definitely. Children, I even think worse. If you're kidnapping kids and you're raping children and stuff, you get your hands cut off, you get your dick cut off, you get your legs cut off. You're gonna be this horrible thing, and you can't, that's what happens, motherfucker. Yeah, you're sick in the head, but now you're sick outside, too. So, but yeah, I don't know. are you in my camp of where you just want to do these cruel and unusual punishments to people? Where, like, people who are just total horrible human beings deserve to have horrible shit happen to them? Or you just, like, throw them in jail?
It's not like I want to do them myself.
Well, I'm not saying me do them myself. I'm just saying, just do them to them.
I don't think, I don't know, prison is the best option either. That's just a waste of money in my opinion. I mean, but at the same time, I don't want to kill them, so I don't know.
Alright, let's put it this way. Are you pro or con death penalty?
Pro.
You're pro. Okay, me too. Me too. I'm pro to a point. I think if you killed somebody on accident, you don't deserve the death penalty. You deserve, whatever the punishment may be. Like, if you accidentally hit someone with your car and did a hit and run, 20 years. I'm sorry. That's what happens. You fucked up and you left the scene. Now, if you accidentally hit somebody and, you stayed and called 911 and all that, well, that's up to the courts to decide, but I wouldn't say you deserve life for it. Because it's all an accident. Now, if you purposely killed somebody, that's where it gets into this gray area, in my opinion. Where if you just, you planned on killing your wife or whatever, and you killed her and whatever, and then you hid the body, but you got caught. I don't know. Would you say that type of person, someone who plans to kill just one person, they're not a serial killer or anything, but they just plan on killing one person, do you think they deserve the death penalty?
I don't know. I mean, I think it always varies, but the fact that it varies makes it extremely hard to effectively, like, enforce the law if you make it that way. I mean, that's just the way I see it. I mean, I would say obviously in cases you're better off just killing the person and forgetting about them. They're not gonna have any part in the world anymore. That's probably a better thing, but I don't know. Forgiveness, I think it's legitimate. People can recover even if they're more cruel than you might think possible. I don't know.
Now, serial killers, do you think those guys, like the asshole who shut up the whole movie theater, you think he deserves death penalty?
Well, that's just a mass murder.
Oh, okay, I guess you're right.
But,
mass murder, serial killer, let's throw them in the same bunch. I mean...
Well, I think serial killers definitely. I think, although the guy who shot up the theater, I imagine I don't know if he was insane or not, but I mean...
Well, you're pretty bad right
guess
in the head.
Yeah, I mean... Death penalty wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest.
Well, it's, it's one of those, in this pro and con thing, like, one of them is like, if you kill them, I mean, granted, it takes forever in this country that when we actually give someone the death penalty, they sit on the death penalty thing for like 10 to 20 years, it seems like, It takes them fucking forever to get killed before we actually just put them to death. And maybe they're just trying to make sure that they didn't pass up anything. Or whatnot, but, it kind of turns into this one thing where, why keep these mass murderers in jail and have them be on our dime the rest of their lives, because, all the money that comes from jails comes from, us taxpayers. So it kind of comes from...
That's where all the money comes from.
No, yeah. No. But they probably get sponsorships from Coke. You never know.
It comes from the Federal Reserve. That's where it comes from.
Federal Reserve, yeah. Do you think we need to be paying for some of these people? Like I don't know, like the murderers who get life in prison. It almost seems like it would be more humane just to kill them. I mean, if they're I guess I should say if they have multiple life sentences, because the life sentence is only 20 years, but even multiple life sentences, wouldn't it be just more humane just to kill them instead of letting them rot and die in jail?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That'd be interesting if we implemented we give them the choice. Would you like life in prison, or we can just kill you?
No. Life in prison, it really depends. Like I said, 20 years depends how much if you think your life's worth something. But 20 years, or let's just go with life in prison. So life in prison or death, which one do you want to do? Because, you know what, death, at least you're going to get a nice meal, and then you can make your peace with your maker, and you can go on your way. Life in prison, you have that chance of getting, ass raped in prison, constantly beat up, prison shanked. You know, you have all these other things that could actually happen to you. That's actually my biggest fear about, like, you know, not that I would ever go to prison for any reason, but if I did, that would be a huge fear of mine.
Yeah, that would be extremely frightening. I mean, I'm sure, although this type of person is probably hard to come by, I'm sure there's the occasional person who enjoys living in prison.
Well,
like for whatever reason.
yeah.
I mean, they're the big dog there. They don't have to do any work. All they get to eat and sleep, and that's all they really have to do. I mean,
yeah. Let me ask you, you know, because there's like a bunch of different ways of killing people. That we've killed people. We do the lethal injection, the electrocution chair, the gas chamber, hanging, and firing squad.
Typically, it's the lethal injection, right?
Yeah, most from what the statistics website I'm on, they say 1,052 people have been killed by just lethal injection. Only 3 people have been killed by firing squad, 3 people by hanging, 11 by gas chamber. That's not really a big one. Electrocution chair, only 157 people. So yeah, 95% of it's all lethal injection.
And that's only U.S., I assume, right?
Yes, this is all U.S. stuff. You know,
Yeah, we can't really. I mean, we don't know shit about the other countries. There are some other countries that do allow the death penalty, but I mean, this like difficulty in the art, like we're not arguing at all, but we're talking about the general idea of how. I mean, this is an argued topic. That like half the reason why it takes so long to prosecute anyone is because there's so many mixed feelings in terms of this. Like being a person, like you kind of understand what life is. Like it's this. I mean, you know, it's really hard to explain. As you know, you're a person, but like I don't know, having that at the tip of your hands, I don't know how you make that decision. Really, like. It's pretty fucked up. I don't know.
You sound like a bunch of hippie shit right there, Dustin. You know what? They kill somebody, we're going to kill you. Well, that's how it's done. You know, I've heard both sides of the argument. You know, I've heard people like in this country who want to do eye for an eye type thing. You know, where they're like, you know, oh, you steal, we'll steal from you, or you get caught stabbing somebody, so we're going to stab you. Like they want Old Testament justice to these people, you know. And then I've heard the other one where they're like, well, no, they're people too. We should just get them the help they need in prison. Yes, he shot 27 people in a movie theater or something like that. I really don't remember how many people he shot, but he needs help. I was like, he needs help one way or another, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think we should cater to prisoners. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, those facilities, they are run pretty damn cheaply, but there's actually a lot of prisoners in the U.S., like...
Oh yeah, we have our prison system's really profitable in U.S., but that's also because we throw a lot of people in prison for misdemeanors, for God's sakes. You know, we'll throw people in prison for just, you know, oh, you know, you had weed on you, I guess you're going to prison, or I guess they'd send them to jail, but still, that type of thing. You know, we incarcerate a lot of people. Let's see.
Yeah, what about rape victims? Or not rape victims, the people who are doing the rape.
Oh, those rape people? Well, I already told you my opinion. I stand by my cruel and unusual punishment. What would you want to happen to the rape victims, the child molesters, the people who aren't killing anybody, but they're fucking up people's lives? Would you like?
Yeah, I think the best thing would be to fuck their life up as well, but I mean, it varies upon how you could do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know.
Rape for rape isn't actually a bad idea, I mean.
Well, it isn't, in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, I want to, remove the rapist's genitals and have them be raped any way the rapist feels like he should. And then, like I said, what happens to child molesters? Because that's even more sick than anything. And if you abuse your wife, well, guess what? We're going to send some guy to go over there and beat the living hell out of you.
Or just, you could put them in some sort of facility with just beefy ass women.
Oh yeah,
and just have
send
the
him
women
to women prison where they're
beat
all
down.
beefy
Yeah.
and shit, and they'll beat his ass and say, "Hey, by the way, he likes to beat his wife," and see how many of them beat the shit out of him. So yeah, and if you're racist and you perform hate crimes, well, guess what? We're gonna throw you in a pit of, say if you're a white supremacist and you hate black people, we're gonna send you to the ghettoest place in town with a sign that says, "I'm a racist. Please kick my ass," and we'll see what happens to you. Oh God, it's looking at these things though, it's quite interesting though to see how many people were, what areas of the country really believe in execution. So hey, fun fact for you kids: if you want to kill somebody, do not do it. Definitely not in Texas or Virginia, because they'll kill your ass just for looking at somebody wrong, apparently. And just don't do it in the South at all, because the South has killed over 1,000 people. Our Midwest, where we are, we killed pretty close to 150. The West has killed about 69. And the Northeast, 4. Oh, so yeah, if you're a killer, you're probably going to do it more likely up in the Northeast, because they're not going to kill your ass.
Well, it depends if you want the death penalty yourself or not.
I don't know anyone who's like I said, it's not like they do a mass shooting, but like, give me the death penalty, come on, I want to buy firing squad.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who commit suicide. I mean, if you're really going to commit suicide, you might just do whatever the hell you want before you.
That has been a thing though, Dustin. Death by cop. Where people they'll get the cops on them, and then they'll have a gun to make sure the cop shoots him. And it's basically suicide by police. And it was kind of a big problem at one time, I guess. Not big enough to where it's you got a bunch of news articles, but there's been many cases of people who just wanted to get killed.
Let's not spoil the ending of Gran Torino. Oh, whoops, we already did.
Well,
just by mentioning it.
He doesn't get killed by police.
He does too.
No, he doesn't. Gran Torino?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get killed by cops at all. He gets killed by the Asians.
Oh, well. He does it in the same way. Yeah, you're right. Now I remember. But the cops come after that. I guess that's why I got the scenes mixed up.
Yeah. And yeah, by the way, spoiler for Gran Torino. Army arguing he doesn't do death by cop, but I'm trying to remember, there's been shows basically if you watch any crime drama, they always have that one episode where the guy wants to be shot by the police. Yeah. But from what the statistics things show, though, 65% of America actually supports the death penalty. So the people who don't are very few, but it's just kind of whatever. The only thing I don't get, though, is what they say is the average cost of a death penalty case is $2.4 million. And I gotta ask, what the fuck are they spending it on?
The jury, man.
How much money do you give the jury for that?
Those are really high-end cases. You have to have sometimes they go to Supreme Court, sometimes they just take months and months, and I don't know, you gotta pay a lot of people there. That's pretty crazy. I mean, makes me wonder, what does a life in prison sentence usually cost?
Very true. That's a very good point. How much does life in prison just cost us, per prisoner? Because we got to pay for their running water. We got to pay for their, their heat, their shelter, their light, their electricity, and all that fun stuff. And then their food, and then, medical. I mean, we pay quite a bit for their, for just a prisoner, I always kind of thought, if I was a homeless person, just get thrown in jail, just do some public indecency shit or whatever, get your ass thrown in jail and just, 3 meals a day, roof over your head, a running toilet. Doesn't sound too bad.
Till you get raped.
Well, jail's not as likely, because jail's just a bunch of people the drunks and the, pot, all the drug users. So you're less likely to get raped. I say less likely, not, But, the biggest con people always use against the death penalty, Dustin, you tell me if this really should count, are the people who are wrongly convicted and get killed.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, you obviously don't want to be killing the people who don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
That's an issue. I mean, if you're going to kill someone, there's always the chance that they didn't really do anything. I mean,
I want to agree with you, because I want to be, in my opinion, this is kind of another thing. If the jury can't really prove that, like, say if they, you're the prime suspect and, they think they have evidence on you that you killed your girlfriend or whatever, and then, you didn't, and you keep saying you didn't, and they really have no hard evidence, like a witness seeing you do it, or, whatever, I don't think you deserve the death penalty for it, I don't believe that, because, I mean, if you did like what that asshole did with the shootings of the, shooting at the movie theater, or say if the Sandy Hook guy didn't get, caught, or even the bombers, like that one bomber, I think, is he still alive?
Yeah.
The Massachusetts bomber, the one that didn't get killed, he was in the hospital. I didn't know if he died in the hospital or if he...
I think they both died now, yeah.
Oh, okay. Did he die in the hospital? Well, say if he didn't die or whatever. I think someone like that, where they have video footage of him doing it, and, that would be death penalty in my opinion. Because,
Or, guilty plea should be.
Oh yeah, if he pleaded guilty,
I mean,
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because that, if you have nothing to hide, well, guess we're gonna electrocute your ass. But
yeah, it's still weird though to think like maybe some mobsters or something who have a lot of connections and a lot of power. They're committing a lot of crimes, and they're using their little pawns to plead guilty for them.
That is
for the crimes to ensure that the police record goes through. They think they convicted someone when really the person who was behind it is still doing it. Like
that's what also
that can happen. I mean I don't know if it does happen.
No,
but I mean,
it
does. I imagine it does. Yeah.
Yeah, Dustin. One of the cons they have right there is saying wealth. Like people who are less wealthy tend to get the death penalty more often than not than the people who have a lot of money and they commit a murder. They're say if O.J. Simpson got convicted for killing his ex-wife and her boyfriend, he wouldn't have got the death penalty. He would have just got life in prison. That we would have never heard of him again. But they would not have killed him. And, he wouldn't even gone to, regular prison. He would have went to, like, celebrity prison or whatever, where he's all safe behind padding and shit like that. Because they wouldn't throw him out in the public where he'd get stabbed a bunch of times. Now, what do you think about treason? Like what that Snowden guy did. If they had caught Snowden, do you think he would deserve to have the death penalty? Or do you think he would just, prison or nothing at all? Depending on what kind of treason it was.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty sure the way that all of these cases go down, that, like, they consider so many different elements. Like, you don't just, you never sentence anyone to death just, like, because you say they did this, they confirmed that they did that, and then they get sentenced to death. I mean, I don't think you can make it that way. Like,
no, you can't.
Like, yeah, that's part of the issue. I mean, yeah, some type of treason could probably, if it threatened the national security significantly, I mean, that person, well, they already did it. I mean, it's kind of fucked up either way. Like, I don't think it matters if you do or don't kill them.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
now, do you think that we should just keep doing the lethal injection, or do you think... I personally kind of want to see the firing squad more often than not. I don't know why. I just think it'd be kind of,
I think the lethal injection works really well. I mean, it paralyzes them, puts them to sleep before they die.
It puts them to sleep like you put a dog asleep, essentially. Where they just...
Yeah, well, it takes you unconscious, and then it kills you. I mean, as far as we can tell, when you're unconscious, you don't feel anything. So I think that's the most, if you're really concerned about the individual who's about to die, like, does it matter how he feels? He's gonna die anyways. Exactly. I mean, but a lot of people are really concerned about, like, humane death penalty.
Well, that's why I think the lethal injection is so popular, because it's the most humane way of doing it. In my opinion, it gets rid of the whole anxiety. Like, if the guy, granted, when he's going up to the table or whatever that they're going to inject him with, his heart's probably racing or whatever. But he doesn't have the whole thing like an electrocution chair would, where you're sitting down and you get that, you're just gonna fry, or even, I think that I would not want to say let's bring back hanging or, crucifixions. What I'm saying, Dustin, is maybe we should bring back gladiatorial combat.
Entertainment for the American people. Yeah. I like it.
So we take all these rapists and thug, people who steal, and then we put them as we put them in the fight, and maybe they get a fight, not to the death, but they just get to fight each other. And then we put the death penalty people, the people we throw in death penalty, they have to fight to the death. And, if you win, well, guess what? You just win maybe another month of life. That's what you keep winning. You never win you're free.
You win the right to continue to compete. That's all you win.
Yeah, basically, like I said, you get a month off and not having to fight, and maybe you can train or whatever. And if you're really good, guess what? The crowd will like you a little bit more. But, I don't know. That's just me. And I don't mean like Running Man gladiatorial combat or Hunger Games type combat where, they're putting this high-tech thing with modern weapons. No, I'm saying fucking Spartacus, Rome, gladiatorial combat where we give them a sword and a shield or whatever medieval weapon they want to choose, put in little armor. They get maybe a helmet and maybe a little thing over their shoulder. That's what they get. Let's have them fight to the death. Fucking brutal as shit. I understand my wants will never come true in our day and age. Actually, I think more likely than not that our day and age doesn't. We're going to see the abolish of the death penalty.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's really strange. Politicians, they need to get the votes. And some drastic things are good in some scenarios. I don't think you can deny that. I mean, obviously they can be bad in some scenarios also, but to get the votes, you mostly need to do non-drastic things. If you want a lot of people to agree with you, it's more likely that they'll agree with you if you're just saying
what they want to hear.
Kind of neutral things. Yeah.
Well, I don't trust politicians. Politicians, a lot of them, it's your governors, your senators, your Congress, a lot of them, all they do is say that they want to do something, but they never act on it. You have those ones that hate violence in video games. They're just tooting their own horn to get the votes of the older generation that don't understand the media. Or you get those, you get some of them that say they want to abolish abortion or abolish the death penalty. You get all these ones. They're not going to ever be able to do it. I mean,
yeah, most cases you're right. I mean, yeah, but if you think about it, how do you really do those really drastic things? The world's so big and so complicated, to change almost any even a little thing requires a lot of effort and a lot of support from a lot of different people.
Yeah,
I mean,
look at Obamacare right now, how much flack that gets because they're kind of trying to get this universal health care program started up in America.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not, we're not going to get into the whole logistics of Obamacare or anything. I'm just saying that's something that's changing the way we're used to doing things, and a lot of people are pissed. So that's with any big change. If you did that in America, if Obama came out the next day and said, I'm abolishing the death penalty, you guarantee all the southern states would start losing their mind. They would start oh no, and you'd hear all these these pro-death penalty things, and then it would be a whole big old debate. So it is rather funny how all that. This another fun little fact about the death penalty. Only 35 states still do it. So almost half the states are done doing it. And I think what you were telling me before we started recording about the entire Northeast just doesn't do it,
Mostly, yeah.
And which
a few states there in the Northeast do, but most of the Northeast, doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Is there? What do you want to talk about with this death penalty? I'm trying to think if we covered all. Oh, do you think it's constitutional? It's constitutionally right?
I mean,
I don't know if there is anything in the Constitution saying that they can or cannot put anybody to death.
Yeah, I mean, it matches up fine with a lot of parts, but I don't know, the idea that each individual should have the right to, the pursuit of happiness. I don't know the exact words, but more along those lines. It doesn't really agree with the fact that you're just going to kill that person. I mean, but at the same time, I don't think I don't think it's really a big deal. But, gee, I don't know. I can't really say a definitive thing about the death penalty, to be honest. I mean, sometimes it's worth it. That's mostly what I can say. I mean, sometimes it's a good idea, but it varies.
Yeah, I'm honestly pretty, I can hear both arguments of the death penalty and agree with both sides. Like, the wrongly convicted part, and I'm like, yeah, that's messed up. Or, why should some asshole shoots a bunch of people or kills people because he gets some sick thrill out of it? Why should he get a live? What gives him, I think once I don't know, and this is my opinion, once you start killing people, you kind of waive away your rights as a human being. Because you're taking life from another human being. You just waived yours as one of us. So I think the Constitution does not apply to these people. And, in one way or another, I kind of think the Constitution doesn't apply to a lot of prisoners.
Yeah,
depending on your
much,
crime.
I mean,
like I said, depending on your crime. If you got thrown in jail for DUIs, I don't think you were like, oh, well, your constitutional rights are done. No.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with, I think a lot of people's beliefs in terms of this subject is if we want to create laws, they need to be definitive. Mm-hmm. They need to be concise, and there's no gray area there. But there's obviously a lot of gray area in this subject. So that's what makes it hard for me. I mean,
well, that's with all our laws we make, seems like. And,
yeah,
I agree with
much.
you. I think there should be a definitive thing saying, if you do blank, this will happen to you. If you were proven killing somebody, you are going to die. You get the death penalty. If we prove you guilty, and as the court always says, like, if we prove you indefinitely guilty or something like that without question or whatever, if the jury finds you guilty and all the evidence matches up, then you're dead. There's no gray area. He wasn't right in his mind, so we're just going to give him mental health. No. He wasn't right in his mind, and hopefully he's Hindu, so he believes he gets another chance or something,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't really care about this issue so much, the issue I'm about to address, that is, like, the whole idea of, like, government, sometimes you are controlling the lives of others in some ways. Obviously, we're limiting what anyone can do here in America and anywhere in the world, really. Like, I feel like it's almost, that idea, you at first think it's bad, but as people, we're so fucked up sometimes that you have to draw a line. Like, you kind of have to limit us, otherwise
are you just talking
shit
about
could
laws
just get bad. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, the idea of controlling individuals with laws.
Yeah. Well, I think laws you need, because if you didn't have laws, then we kind of get into that old West feel where you gotta have you have someone that just running everything. No matter what, every society is always going to have some type of rules they go by. It doesn't matter. Like, even if the U.S. government fell and we were all forced to, I really do believe that humanity would just make up a new society.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder, like, all the people who say we'll just stick with murdered, all the people who murdered someone, like, they got to that position where they literally killed someone as an individual, like, they did it, and, like, all their past history makes me wonder, like, if it's really their past history that kind of made that happen. Like, say me or you, we're not raised in this nice urban scenario where we got to do mostly what we wanted and we didn't have very many restrictions. Like, if we were grown up in a really bad place and our whole life was just filled with a lot of bad things, would we be more likely to do that? I think we would.
I think you would too. Like, you look at countries like Africa where they, there's murder everywhere over there, or I should say continents like Africa, but, they got murder all over the place in those places. Kids are murdering parents because they're forced to. A lot of kids are growing up with murder in those areas. So, in retrospect, it's not I want to say it's kind of the way they kind of are grown up in a way, but there are some people where, back to that one dude who shot a bunch of people in Aurora, he went to my campus for God's sakes, the dude was supposed to be like a normal motherfucker, and, what we really need to try to figure out in our world is what drives people to do this. I understand, the human brain is very complicated, and there's no way, I don't think there is a way to figure out, at least with our technology we have now, what would drive a human brain to just snap and kill a bunch of people. And I think that's what we need to do, and that only then can you stop crimes like that. Death penalty, it doesn't stop anybody, as we can clearly see. Murder happens a lot. I mean, murder has gone down since, our country's origins, but, that's just because we've had more law enforcement around, I guess. But, it really, I don't know. It just, I really think that, how they took away the 30-round magazine and all that shit. We kind of already talked about that. It won't stop anybody. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. They have murder still in Australia and in Great Britain, and they don't even have, to my knowledge, Australia doesn't even have the death penalty either. And they still have murder and all that, so.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about. There are times in lives, like, where that person thinks that in order to proceed, they're gonna need a kill. Like, I don't know whether it's for defense or, I don't know, just in the, like, kind of grand scheme of things, like, there's a little reason why people kill others. I mean, I don't know what that reason is, though. It's hard to think. It obviously varies, but...
Yeah. Well, Dawson, some men just want to watch the world burn. No. Anything else you want to add on this topic?
Not really, man.
Yeah, no. All right, that was the Bloody Times. If you're ever looking for a show where you get two guys just talking out of their ass about a topic that they don't really study or anything, that purely just our opinions, come to this show.
Yeah, for the daily news of half the shit that's not important yet somewhat interesting.
Yeah. we got some news that goes around the world, and then we just bullshit about some controversial topics. You've been listening to the Bloody Times. If you would like to talk about our topic to us or tell us about your opinions on this topic, either email us at bloodyscreenpodcast@gmail.com. That is bloodyscreenpodcast@gmail.com. Or go to our forums and just, create your own, or you could just go into to the section called "What do you think about the site?" and you just tell us episode 5 or whatever. Let us know what you think about this topic, because we'd love to hear. And if you have something that you would like, to either confirm with us, or ask one of us individually, or just talk to one of us individually, you have to go to one of those two places. Otherwise, that is it, everybody. Don't forget to for our forums. Also, don't forget to visit bloodyscreenpod.com. That is it.